Hello. Today we will solve a question from the TOEFL reading section, focusing on the read a notice question type. We will practice understanding everyday notices, identifying rules, instructions, or key conditions, and selecting the most accurate answer based on practical, real-life, written information. Welcome back to another exciting lesson where we sharpen your reading skills for the TOEFL exam. In this session, we are going to look at a short announcement about a museum exhibition. These types of questions test your ability to quickly scan for important details like dates, requirements, and services. Let's dive in and boost your score together. If you are enjoying these lessons, please make sure to subscribe to the My TOEFL channel for more daily practice. Hitting that follow button helps us keep bringing you high-quality content to support your study journey. Gallery of Antiquities. Let's start with the title of the notice. The title gives us the name of the place. The word gallery usually refers to a room or building where art or historical objects are shown to the public. Next, we have the word antiquities. This word refers to objects from ancient times, specifically from very old history like ancient Greece or Rome. So right away we know this notice is from a place that displays ancient historical objects. New Roman Empire exhibit. Now, looking at the subtitle, we see the specific event being announced. The key word here is exhibit. An exhibit is a public display of items in a museum or gallery. This tells us that the notice is about a specific show focusing on the Roman Empire, rather than just general information about the gallery. Journey back in time with our new exhibit, Echoes of Rome. Let's look at the first sentence. It invites you to journey back in time. This is a common phrase that means to experience what life was like in the past. It is not a literal trip. The name of this specific show is Echoes of Rome. This sentence sets the theme and invites visitors to experience history. Discover artifacts from the daily life of ancient Romans, including pottery, coins, and mosaics. The next sentence tells us exactly what we will see. The most important word here is artifacts. Artifacts are objects made by humans, typically of cultural or historical interest. The text lists examples of these artifacts. Pottery, which are pots and dishes made of clay, coins, which is money used in the past, and mosaics, which are pictures or patterns made from small pieces of colored stone or glass. This detail confirms we are dealing with a historical display. The exhibit opens on June 1st. This short sentence provides a crucial practical detail, the starting date. The phrase opens on tells us when the general public can start visiting the exhibit. It is important to note this specific date for timeline questions. Members can preview it on May 31st. Here we have a special condition. The word members refers to people who have joined the gallery's club or support group. They get to preview the exhibit. A preview means seeing something before it is open to everyone else. This date is one day earlier than the general opening. Tickets can be purchased online through our visitor portal to avoid queues at the entrance. Finally, the notice explains how to enter. It says tickets can be purchased online using the visitor portal, which is likely a website. The reason given is to avoid queues. A queue is a line of people waiting, so buying tickets on the website helps you skip the line at the door. All right, everyone, let's take a look at the first question. What kind of institution likely posted this notice? This question asks us to identify the type of organization behind the notice. The key word is institution. To answer this, we need to look at the name of the place and what they are doing. We saw in the title that it is a gallery displaying artifacts. We need to find the option that matches this description. Let's take a closer look at option A, a university history department. Option A suggests an educational department at a university. While universities do study history, the notice calls itself a gallery and invites members and the public to an exhibit of artifacts. A university department usually focuses on classes and research, rather than public exhibitions of this nature. Therefore, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option B, a public library. Option B suggests a library. Libraries primarily house books and resources for reading. While they might have small displays, they do not typically host a large collection of pottery, coins, and mosaics as their main function under the name Gallery of Antiquities. Thus, this option is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option C, a cultural heritage center. Option C mentions a cultural heritage center. This is an institution dedicated to preserving and displaying culture and history, which fits perfectly with the description of a gallery showing artifacts from ancient Rome. This term acts as a synonym for a museum or gallery of historical objects. This option is correct. Now let's take a closer look at option D, a travel agency. Option D suggests a travel agency. This might be a trap because the text uses the phrase journey back in time. However, as we discussed, journey back in time is a metaphor for learning about history, not a real physical trip sold by an agency. Therefore, this is incorrect. The correct answer is C because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage. Now let's move on to the second question. How can visitors buy tickets in advance? This question asks for the method of purchasing tickets before arriving. The key phrases are buy tickets and in advance. We need to find the specific instruction in the notice about ticket sales. The text explicitly mentions that tickets can be purchased online to avoid queues. Let's take a closer look at option A. By visiting the gallery in person, option A suggests going to the gallery. While you can usually buy tickets at the door, the text encourages buying them online to avoid queues at the entrance, implying that buying in person is the alternative to buying in advance. The question specifically asks for the in advance method mentioned to avoid the lines. Thus, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option B. By calling the front desk, option B suggests making a phone call. We should scan the text for words like call, phone, or number. None of these words appear in the notice. Since this method is not mentioned, this option is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option C. By sending an email request. Option C suggests sending an email. Similar to the previous option, we scan the text for email or an email address. The notice talks about an online visitor portal, which is a website, not an email request. Therefore, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option D. By using the institution's online portal, option D says to use the online portal. This matches the text perfectly, which states, tickets can be purchased online through our visitor portal. This is the exact method described for advance purchase to avoid lines. This option is correct. The correct answer is D, because the key expressions in the text match this option exactly, showing that careful scanning of the passage leads to the correct answer.